Hey everybody, I'm Chris Lane and we're gonna go in today about how I love to fish topwater. One of my favorite ways to fish is getting those big explosions, whether it's on this Chaos Shad, the Smooth Walker, or the new Popper Junior from XPS. I'm telling you, one thing that I really key in on is when I'm throwing a bait like this is make sure there's a little ripple on the water, to where you'll see we'll be in some calmer water later today where we're throwing the Popper, the Smooth Walker. You can kind of throw in both. So my biggest thing right now is following this bank to where we're gonna fish all the way down and we'll figure out where we get a bite. Is it at the mouth? Is it in the middle? Or is it in the back? And then that way we can take that throughout the entire lake and start where we had those bites, either in the middle, in the back, was it by rock or was it by wood? So we're throwing the Chaos Shad right now. And the reason this bait is so effective is because whether it's gizzard shad or big brim up on the bank, you know, if a bass sees this coming by his head, he's just gonna chase it and annihilate it. It's one of the most awesome strikes I've ever seen. There he is right there. Good way to start the morning. So to me, it's all about that explosive strike. See, what was so cool about that fish, what I learned from that fish was, if you can see right there, there's some rocks coming out. There's a little point, just a little different something on the bank that that fish was sitting by. So when you're going down the bank, you want to make sure that you pay attention to everything, whether there's some rock under the water, whether it's a boat ramp that comes down, whether it's by a dock. Always pay attention to where you catch a fish, because more than likely that's where other ones will be. All right, the Chaos Shad setup for me is an 8:3 gear ratio, the Johnny Moore's Platinum with a 7.4 medium heavy. The reason you want the 7.4 so you can make those longer casts. And of course, 50-pound XPS braid, straight to the head of the Chaos Shad. I don't throw a leader or anything like that. That bait's moving so fast, that's when they're gonna bite it. It's an aggression bite. They don't care if it's braid, mono, or fluorocarbon. Doesn't matter. So that's the setup for the Chaos Shad. So we just switched up to the Smooth Walker. The reason being is this water has really calmed down. It's just a little bit slower of a presentation, and it allows you to keep that bait in the strike zone just a little bit longer. And that's key some time of year when the fish are not real aggressive and they're just hanging out there, and it takes them a few minutes and they decide, do I eat it? Do I not eat it? Do I eat it? Do I not eat it? Right there, just had to have it. Switched up to the Smooth Walker. Oh, and it came off. But right there, that's encouraging. We switched up to the Smooth Walker just because the wind laid down quite a bit back in here. All right, the Smooth Walker, not much difference, but 50-pound braid straight to the nose of the Smooth Walker. But here's the difference. This is a 7.1, a little bit shorter rod. Why? Because you don't want to be jerking that down into the water. If you got a longer rod, it'll hit the water. So shorter rod, you get a lot more action with the shorter rod, and you can kind of keep that in the strike zone and that bait walking like it's supposed to in an 8:3 gear ratio. So we just switched up to the Popper Junior because we got way back into this little tight little pocket, and the bait I've been seeing is about that big. Threw it out there, had a brim come up and hit it right off the bat. It's a real light bait. You want to make sure you throw it on a spinning rod or like a real small bait caster, like a 6.9, something like that, a smaller rod with about 14-pound test. And with this bait, you want to go real slow. You want little small jerks. You don't want to jerk it real hard because then it makes too big of a whoosh. Just want nice little pops. And most of the time when you come into a pocket like this, those fish are going to be right there where that water usually flows out. They don't get along the sides a whole lot. They want to be right in there waiting on whether it's a lizard or a shad or a brim gets stuck up there, or they're up there feeding where all that stuff's coming out from the drain. Those fish will stay right in that pocket. All right, the Popper Junior. Here's what's cool about this bait. It's a smaller bait. It's a finesse style bait. Of course, Johnny Moore's Signature Series Platinum spinning rod and a 7.1 medium heavy. You know, the reason is you want to be able to cast this bait far. With a bait caster, it's pretty hard to do So lighter line, lighter setup, make longer casts, Popper Jr. All right, so that's my 3 topwater baits. The XPS Chaos Shad in the middle, the XPS Smooth Walker right there on your left, and of course the XPS Popper Jr. These baits, they're gonna be able to give you what you need in every condition to catch more fish.